Hi, everybody. Brad Truax here from Eastman's Woodlands and Wildlife Committee. And today we're going to talk about wild turkeys. Here you see a group of wild turkeys. You see both a tom, that's the big male turkey, several female turkeys. Here you actually see some foraging around in the winter. It's not surprising that turkeys are found in New Hampshire, and you're likely to see them here at Eastman almost any season. The adult males are called toms or gobblers. Young males are called jakes. Females are all called hens, and the hatchlings are called poults. Average weight of an adult male is about 17 pounds, but they may be as high as 24 or 25 pounds. And the females are about half that size. The feathers tend to be iridescent. The males have long, dark, fan-shaped tail with glossy bronze wings, and the feathers have areas of red, purple, green, copper, and bronze and gold, and they're very iridescent. The female feathers tend to be much duller in color. There are certain facial features of the turkeys: the snood, the wattle, and the caruncles. The snood is this thing that hangs down from between the eyes down here. The wattle is this thing at the bottom of the neck. And the caruncles are these kind of crinkly things on the back of the neck. So the turkey snoods are important. The snood is the floppy, fleshy appendage, hangs down between the eyes, down over the beak. And both gobblers and hens do have snoods, but the gobbler's snood is much longer. And the snood is part of the gobbler's sexual attractiveness to hens. The turkey with the most prominent snood wins the hen. And why is that? It's actually a sign of good health. A long, bright snood reveals a healthy immune system that's capable of clearing coccidia infections, which are potentially lethal to the chicks. On their legs, they have these things called spars. These grow from little nubs on the back of the turkey's legs, just below the knee. And hens have them too, but they don't grow on the hens. On the gobblers, the spars can grow up to 1.5 to 2 inches, and they use these to spar with other males. Turkeys are active year round at New Hampshire. Again, they're quite common here at Eastman. They don't migrate or hibernate, so you're as likely to see them in winter as during other seasons. And turkey populations have fallen by as much as a third in recent years in the Midwest and the South, but not here in New Hampshire. They seem to be flourishing here. And the reasons for that are really not clear. Turkeys like hardwood or mixed conifer hardwood forests with openings to fields, pastures, or other open areas. So here at Eastman, it's actually kind of an ideal habitat. We certainly have mixed conifer hardwood forests and openings to areas like the golf course. Probably we most commonly see the wild turkeys when they're out on the golf course. And conifers in particular provide them with more protection in winter. That's because they capture some of the snow and they provide some camouflage from predators. Can turkeys fly? Well, we usually see turkeys moving around on the ground, but actually they're excellent flyers. They're agile and fast, and this is despite a fairly substantial weight that they have. And they may fly up to perches, but usually they fly pretty close to the ground. So again, turkeys actually have phenomenal vision. Scientific American reports that turkeys have 3 times better vision than humans with 20/20 vision. And they have almost double the number of cones and photoreceptors in their eyes. And they also have 270-degree vision, which during the daylight is pretty good because it allows them to identify potential predators that are nearby. But it's a different story at night. Despite that great vision during the daytime, they don't see very well at night. And that makes them particularly vulnerable to predators. So usually at twilight, many turkeys head for the trees and they may roost well above the ground. Above the ground, it's both safer to sleep and they tend to sleep in numbers. And there's less risk of being victim to predators who are hunting at nighttime. There is a real pecking order. Wild turkeys live in flocks that are organized by a pecking order, and each bird is dominant over or pecks on birds of a lesser social status. And turkeys may attempt to dominate or attack people that they view as subordinates, or respond aggressively and peck shiny objects like windows or vehicles, sometimes interpreting their own reflection in those objects as an intruding turkey. So, what do turkeys eat? Really, almost anything. They're omnivores. They'll eat whatever the best food is available at the time. You'll usually see them foraging on the ground in groups, and they eat grains, green seeds, legumes, nuts, berries, grasshoppers, crickets, cicadas, and other insects. And they may even eat small peeper frogs in the spring, and occasionally they might eat a snake, a frog, or a mouse. In March through May is the breeding season for wild turkeys, and the hens don't lay their eggs all at once. Rather, they lay eggs once a day over about 2 weeks, and then the hen will incubate them for about 28 days. So sit on the clutch of 8 to 12 eggs for several hours daily in a usually in a well-hidden nest somewhere on the ground. And the exposed eggs are at risk to predators like skunks, snakes, or raccoons. Sunlight also helps keep the eggs warm. And toward the end of the incubation period, the hen will actually sit on the nest each day until they hatch. And if the nest gets destroyed by fire or flood or predation, the hen may lay another clutch of eggs if it's early enough in the season. During breeding season, some turkeys may act aggressively by pecking, following, or exhibiting other intimidating behavior towards people. Males will puff out their feathers, fan their tails, and strut while gobbling and making other vocalizations. And this behavior is also common at other times of year when turkeys are establishing social dominance or status within the flock. Yes, turkeys gobble, and some say that gobble can be heard up to a mile away. But they also make a variety of other sounds: yelps, purrs, clucks, cackles, and others. And they use these in various combinations in order to communicate with the rest of the flock. And the males also emit a low pitched drumming sound, and they may make a spitting sound. And these latter sounds are often used to show dominance and attract females. So turkeys store fat to prepare for the winter, and they huddle in dense conifers or dense bushes for protection from the wind and the snow. And they favor south-facing slopes so they can get more sunlight. They like to roost in trees, so they're off the ground where they might be vulnerable to predators like coyotes. And they huddle in groups with birds of the same sex. So the adult males huddle together, the young males huddle together, and females of all ages huddle together. They fluff up their feathers to capture some air for insulation, and they often tuck their heads underneath their feathers to keep warm. And for what they eat, they prefer soft mast like crab apples and wild plums, but they can eat hard mast like acorns and beech nuts. And it may be hard to find food under the snow cover, so they may have to look for plants above ground like ferns or the seeds underneath your bird feeder. Uh, Once they find your bird feeder with seeds underneath, uh, keep in mind they're going to come back. They can lose up to 40% of their body weight and survive for up to 2 weeks without any food at all as long as they're healthy. But many do die during winter. In a severe winter, the survival rate may be as low as 55 to 60%. So again, turkeys do remain active all winter long. And again, they do forage in groups by sex. So here in this top picture, you see several females that are grouped together. Deep snow may make it difficult for them to find food. And again, they like to roost in conifers to protect them from the wind and predators. So here you see a male turkey. This is probably a female over here. Could be a young male. But here, what you see are some evergreen trees. So once again, the evergreen trees tend to block out the wind. They capture some of the snow, and they may provide some camouflage so that the turkeys are less vulnerable to predators. So once again, they huddle together in groups of the same sex. This is the video that I showed you at the beginning. And when I first saw this video, it never dawned on me that these are all turkeys of the same sex. So you can see them really grouping around. This group had probably 8 to 10 turkeys, and they're out there in winter foraging, looking for whatever they can find to eat. So turkey feet have 3 toes that point forward and a fourth one that faces backward. And that hind toe, which is called the hallux, doesn't always show in the tracks, but it might leave a little indentation from the nail. So here you see 3 classic toes. You don't quite see the fourth toe pointing backward, but you do see the nail here. On the other hand, here's a track where you don't see either the rear toe or the nail. And again, you can see them in the snow here, again, very nicely. 3 toes facing forward. Here you might see a little bit of one facing backward, or you might see a little dot here from the nail. So again, that's turkey tracks in the snow, pretty unmistakable. Turkey scat, the scat of the gobbler is J-shaped, and the scat of the hen tends to be more spiral. And the scat is usually dark green or brownish in color, and it often has a swath of white, which is from uric acid. For some reason, birds, many different birds, do have uric acid that produces the white discoloration to their scat. So here you can see white discoloration, and here as well. And that's related to the uric acid. And the larger the turkey, the larger the scat. Turkeys do have predators. They may include coyotes, fox, fishers, wolves, bears, lynx, mountain lions, golden eagles, alligators in other parts of the country, and of course, hunters. And there are predators of the eggs and the nestlings as well, and those include raccoons, opossums, skunks, foxes, groundhogs, and some other rodents. And poults may be prey even to some snakes or raptors like owls, eagles, and hawks. And to fight off the predators, the turkeys may kick with their legs, and they use those spars on the back of their legs as weapons. They'll also bite with their beaks, and they'll ram with their relatively large bodies. So they can be pretty ferocious opponents to any predators. And they can scare off predators up to the size of mid-sized mammals. So again, we've certainly seen them scare off foxes. We've seen them sometimes team up, actually, to ward off a red fox here at Eastman. And turkeys can become aggressive toward humans. There's all sorts of stories about them chasing postal workers or delivery people. And they're especially likely to become aggressive in areas where they've been fed in the past or become aggressive when food has been scant. And remember, they're wild animals, so be very careful. Back off if you see behaviors like puffing their feathers, fanning their tails, gobbling, spitting, or strutting. In words of caution, you shouldn't feed wild turkeys. You might feel sorry for them, but aggressive behavior toward people occurs when turkeys become overly comfortable in the presence of humans. And never intentionally leave food out like birdseed or corn in attempts to help the turkeys or simply view the turkeys. And avoid using bird feeders because those fallen birdseed attracts turkeys and other wild animals, which ultimately can lead to negative interactions with wildlife. Now, here at Eastman, we all like to put out bird feeders. So this is not a blanket statement for you not to put out bird feeders. But what I will warn you is that if wild turkeys do find your bird feeders, that's the time you got to take them in. And Mass Wildlife has some recommendations for what to do if turkeys are frequenting your property. You can scare or threaten turkeys with loud noises or spray water on them with a hose. A dog on a leash is also an effective deterrent. And things like mylar tape, balloons, pinwheels can be used in or around your property as deterrents to turkeys. So that's a little bit about turkeys. You definitely will probably see them here at Eastman sometime. If not this winter, you'll see them in the spring or in the summer.